see the PowerPoint.
Okay. And is my PowerPoint moving?
Not advancing yet.
It's not advancing? Now do you see me?
A little second. There's a delay. We're on your kids need chiropractic. Now we see you.
Okay.
When I said it. Yes.
What do you see now?
That would multiply out. You don't want that. Continue. Looks like there's about a 15 or 20-second delay.
It keeps multiplying my screens. When I screen share, it multiplies my screens. This was the one where it didn't advance.
Okay.
I want to see if it advanced because it hasn't been advancing.
It advanced.
I know, but I don't know. I was on a different one. I was on a different screen sharing option.
We got the little guy getting adjusted.
Okay, so this one will advance. That's what we need to know.
Okay. Should be.
Do you have me? Okay. All right, we're good.
You shouldn't have to click the screen share again. You're going between the two, and when you click the blue one, that's the one you're showing. And then when you stop sharing that one, it automatically comes back to you. So when you click stop sharing and you're coming down here, just keep your head up because they're already watching you. All they're seeing though is your eyeballs move to change to the screen.
Are they seeing this?
And you can look back. Yeah, they're seeing this.
Do we care? Just maybe hit toolbox.
They're seeing this now, girl.
Just make an announcement that you're.
We're just getting our settings correct for the webinar, everybody. All right, so that should work, and then I'll pop back and forth. Perfect. Thank you. Sorry, everyone. We're just making sure that the settings for this webinar are correct. We will get going in just a couple minutes, waiting for a few more people to join us. I hope everybody's enjoying this lovely winter weather we have today. All right. Okay, folks, we're going to get started. So welcome to today's webinar. Our webinar this morning is, or this afternoon, is 7 reasons why your kids need chiropractic. We get questions from our patients all the time. Hey, should I be getting my kids adjusted? When should I get my kids adjusted? Why should I be getting my kids adjusted? So I want to answer those questions for you today so that you understand that health and wellness is really for the whole family. So let's get started here, folks. So 7 reasons why your kids need chiropractic care. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, all of the adults in your family may all be receiving chiropractic care, But what about the children? What about the little ones? Many parents think that their children are healthy and don't need chiropractic care, when in reality, chiropractic can be the edge to help them grow up even stronger, healthier, and smarter. They don't have to have symptoms or a visible problem to mean that they need chiropractic care. So what is chiropractic care? Chiropractic care helps to bring the spine into alignment, allowing your body to function properly, therefore giving your body a chance to effectively fight off disease and prevent feeling unwell. So how do you tell your kids about it? Usually first I like to sit down and ask kids, what's one of the most important parts of your body? What tells your body how to work? And most kids can come up with the brain, and that's exactly right. Your brain is what tells your body how to work. And your brain is constantly sending messages and signals to your body through your nervous system. And when bones in your spine move out of place, that causes irritation and an interference in this nervous system, so now it doesn't work as well. So we check out your spines and we check out little kids' spines. We find these bones out of place that affect the nervous system, we correct them, and then their bodies heal. It's really, really that simple. The body does the healing. We just, by giving an adjustment, get that process started. So before we go into the 7 reasons, I want to tell you guys a story. I think that we remember stories more, and this is a story that's very real, has affected the lives of people in my family, and so I want to share that with you. This is the story of Samuel, and we call it the tale of 2 Samuels. Some of you may have heard this story before.
We are just going to make sure that your slides are showing up to the rest of your audience.
All right, hold on a sec, guys. So you don't want to exit it, do you? I think you have to go back. Sorry, guys, we're just trying to make sure that you can actually see the slides. This is what we're on.
Wait, I'm going to advance it here.
You can see Samuel now.
But can it advance? Go down. Oh, it's not going to pop up. Here, click on that. Tell me, did it change? Did you click? Why did it change? Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties. So I'm going to tell you the tale of 2 Samuels. We tell this story in our Life You Save workshop regularly, so some of you may have heard this before. If you haven't been to our Life You Save workshop, this will be your first time hearing it. Samuel is my cousin's son, actually Dr. Renee, who was just in here helping me. It's her nephew. And Samuel is a kid whose life was very affected and changed by chiropractic care. So when Samuel was born, it was a pretty difficult labor for my cousin Rachel. She wanted to have a natural vaginal birth, but after a long time and a lot of laboring, they decided they needed to do an emergency C-section. So they do that. Samuel comes out, healthy baby boy, and right away, Rachel, wanting to do what is best and most healthy for her son, she tries to breastfeed Samuel in the first days of his life. And for whatever reason, he's really struggling with that. He will breastfeed on the left side, on her left breast, but she cannot get him to feed on the right side, on her right breast. And this is an ongoing problem in the first few days of his life. And so just imagine what Rachel is going through. This is her first child. This is her first experience going through this. Breastfeeding can be difficult and frustrating for some women anyway, but now that her child literally can't use half of her breast supply, it's extremely frustrating for Rachel. This is increasing the risk of her getting mastitis. This is definitely increasing her discomfort even if she doesn't get an infection. And very likely, if this continues, she probably will not continue to breastfeed Samuel. And most of us know it's widely recommended that you breastfeed your children for at least the first 6 months of life. So this is something she really wants to be able to do for her child. Rachel, growing up aware of the benefits of chiropractic and aware of how impactful it can be for adults and children, she takes little baby Samuel to see a chiropractor at 4 days old. Samuel is 4 days old in this picture. This is him receiving his very first adjustment. What happened was she took him to a chiropractor out in Arizona where they live. That chiropractor did an assessment of Samuel's spine and nervous system and found that his very first vertebra, we call it C1, had moved out of place. We call it a subluxation. It had moved out of place and it was affecting the function of Samuel's nervous system. So his body wasn't working the way that it's supposed to. It wasn't working at its best. He gave a very gentle, light force adjustment to Samuel's first vertebra. He literally slept through the entire adjustment. Rachel put him back in his carrier. She took him home, and right after she got home, she took Samuel out of his carrier, went to feed him, and he immediately latched onto her right breast. So this might sound like a breastfeeding success story, and it certainly is, but there's so much more than just success with breastfeeding in this story. Samuel couldn't latch onto the right breast because, one, he just couldn't turn his head. He couldn't turn his head to the left to latch on to that breast. So he had loss of range of motion, very likely. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a quote unquote stiff neck where you've lost range of motion. It's uncomfortable. And we know that this bone out of place was irritating his nervous system, which causes the rest of his organs to not function at their best. So imagine if Rachel didn't know about chiropractic and didn't know that that was safe and effective and going to help her child thrive. If she didn't know, Samuel's life could have gone in a different direction. He very likely would have ended up she would have given up on breastfeeding, which can increase his risk for asthma and allergies. Certainly a mother's breast milk really supplies the child's immune system, so maybe he will be more likely, to get sick and ear infections, stuff that infants get. Also, if Samuel is uncomfortable, we talked about he doesn't have this range of motion, he very likely is actually uncomfortable. And how does a baby communicate that? By crying, but that's also how they communicate that they're hungry, they're tired, they're wet, they're, whatever. That's how kids communicate. So she doesn't know that he's uncomfortable, and very likely if he is, he's going to be a colicky baby. He's going to cry constantly. One of those things where she's like, you have a dry diaper, you're fed, you're clothed, why are you crying? And we hear all the time about colicky babies, and that's the issues and the stress that causes for mom and dad, and it affects the ability for parents and infant to bond. And that likely would have been the case with Samuel if he had not had that adjustment at 4 days old. Fast forward to 10 years down the road, Samuel's a little strapping 10-year-old boy sitting in class who still has this subluxation, this bone out of place in his spine that it's affecting his nervous system. So now he's just constantly overstimulated because this thing just causes him discomfort. So maybe he's a little more irritable than the other children, and he just is a little hyperactive, and he can't sit still in class, and he's still got this range of motion issue. So to talk to his friend in the seat next to him, he's got to turn his shoulders and look all the way around to be able to talk to people. And what do we call those kids who can't sit still in class and can't pay attention, who are constantly fidgeting, right? Rachel gets a call home from his teacher. It says, hey, Rachel, your kid's not focused in class. He's being disruptive. It's affecting his grades. I think your son has what? Call it ADD or ADHD. How many How many of us know children who've been diagnosed with that? How many of us have heard that story? It's crazy how common that is. And Rachel doesn't want her kid to drop behind in school. She doesn't want him to do poorly. And, you know, he's sitting in the back of the class with the other kids who aren't paying attention and who are doing poorly. So he's more likely just to get in trouble because of who he's associated with, right? So she puts him on, you know, whatever medication her doctor recommends for ADD, ADHD. So he's on Ritalin or Adderall. And I'm telling you guys, these are intense drugs. They have a big effect on Samuel and on his personality and how he experiences life. And we still don't know to this day the long-term effects of children being on these drugs. So say he gets put on Ritalin at 10 years old. He's probably taken antibiotics because, like I said, without being regularly breastfed, he probably had a few more of those childhood illnesses. Possibly he's on an inhaler because of asthma. Again, things aren't, not only is he uncomfortable, but things aren't working properly. Organs aren't working properly because that bone that's out of place. So Samuel might have, by the age of 10, be on several different medications. He's probably taken the baby Tylenol or whatnot because he gets headaches because, again, he's got this bone in his spine that's out of place. And trust me, my adult patients with bones out of place in their neck, they frequently have headaches. So let's take this further. Samuel's learned to medicate from a young age for a problem. So how many teenagers or adults do you know that self-medicate with alcohol or cannabis for their discomforts and pains? I know these people. They've been my patients. So what if Samuel becomes that kid all because of this one bone in his spine that was moved out of place during the birth process and it never got corrected? Samuel's life could have gone down a very, very different path. Today, Samuel is 8 years old. He has a little sister. They are both happy and healthy children. They understand the benefits of chiropractic care. He continues to receive regular chiropractic care, as does the rest of their family. And he's growing strong and vibrant. And it's a beautiful thing. So this really changed his life. And certainly it can change the life of your children. So with that story, we're going to move into the 7 actual reasons that your kids should be under chiropractic care. So 1, chiropractic care with proper diet and exercise develops a healthy lifestyle through habits. So for you adults, you probably remember when you were kids, your parents wouldn't let you go to school or they wouldn't let you go to bed before you brushed your teeth. It was just, you always got to brush your teeth when you get up in the morning and brush your teeth before you go to bed at night. And you might have those same battles with your children now. But as an adult, you don't even think about it. You brush your teeth 2 times a day, every day. It's just what you do. It's a part of your lifestyle. And we don't even think about it necessarily as a healthy activity, but it is. You're cleaning your teeth so that you don't get cavities and inflammation in your mouth and gum disease, what have you. That's a part of your healthy lifestyle. So chiropractic can be a part of that healthy lifestyle too. It's just one of the many good habits that your child can grow up experiencing, which will lead to healthy teenage and adult period. So we encourage you to teach your kids the chiropractic lifestyle. Teach your kids the wellness lifestyle that consists of regular chiropractic checkups and adjustments if necessary. It includes a healthy, fresh, nutritional diet. If you spend any amount of time in your office, you know that we are always encouraging people to be on top of their nutrition, eat fresh, healthy vegetables and fruits, good sources of protein. It also includes daily fun exercise and movement. We're always telling our patients, you need to move. Motion is life. You got to keep your joints moving. Your kids need the same thing. And then the other thing we encourage in our office is a positive self-image. A positive self-image that encourages you and your children to stay true to your values, cultivates a strong set of morals and judgment. So all these things help your kids to be at their best mentally, socially, and physically. Who on earth doesn't want that for your children? I know that you want that for your kids, and so do we. So reason number 2, chiropractic care for your children could provide relief from an existing condition. So you're going to hear me say repeatedly, there doesn't have to be a visible problem for your kid to receive chiropractic care, but certainly if there is, they're gonna benefit from chiropractic care. We see many adults who come into our office unwell. Their conditions range from migraine headaches, asthma, allergies, injuries from a work or car accident, and so many more things. We also see a bunch of kids. Did you know that these kids under chiropractic care, it can help them, help the kids who are suffering from ADHD, ear infections, colic, bedwetting, sports injuries, allergies, sleeping issues, behavioral issues, and so much more. So again, we kind of touched on Samuel, you know, on that tale. He could have gone down that path of being diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. If your children have bones out of place in their spine that are affecting the function of their nervous system, that can cause these symptoms, these ear infections, the colic, the bedwetting. And if we can correct that, their bodies have the potential to heal themselves. We cannot promise a cure. I am not suggesting that chiropractic is a cure, but what I can tell you is we have seen so many children in our offices feel better and find the relief that makes them and their parents feel good. Here are just some statistics. Parents with children who have seen a chiropractor were surveyed by the ICPA, that's the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, and they reported behavioral improvements within their children, in addition to improved sleep and stronger overall immune systems. Who would not love for their baby to sleep better, right? And of course, you want your kids to have strong immune systems, you want healthy children. And then each year, the number of children seen by chiropractors is increasing. In 1991, 8.1% of children were visiting a chiropractor, and that number continues to grow. So again, who doesn't want their kid to have relief from these conditions? So reason number 3 why your kids need chiropractic care. It can act as a form of preventative care. Children who are adjusted and continue to be adjusted from a young age through their developmental stages receive great long-term benefits in addition to just feeling better day to day. Again, the number of children seen by chiropractors has been rising each year since 1991. Ongoing adjustments from a young age can fight off the development of an allergy or even strengthen their immune system, so they're less likely to get the cold or the flu. So when that stuff's running around your kid's elementary school, you know, your kid can be protected from that because their immune system is functioning at a high level. For much later in life, adjustments now when they're young can mean that they won't suffer from the degenerative bone or joint diseases that we see in our adult patients all the time. So we're talking about osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, degenerative disc disease. If we can get a hold of these kids when they're young, we can prevent that from happening to them later on in life. How many of you would think, man, I wish I'd started working on my health before I lost it, right? So it's great if we can use prevention for the kids. Reason number 4, they can focus and perform better at school or on the athletic field. So be that the soccer field or whatever sports your kids participate in. More and more children are suffering from developmental disorders such as ADHD. Again, we talked about this. Some of the most common ADHD symptoms are your kids diagnosed with this, they don't pay attention to details, they unintentionally make careless mistakes, they consistently have trouble staying focused or are easily distracted, they may not be listening when spoken to, and they have difficulty remembering things or following instructions. There's a wide range of prescription drugs on the market, but these all have severe side effects. Like I said, you know, there's Ritalin, there's Adderall, there's Vyvanse, there's tons of drugs to treat this quote-unquote condition, but they can cause nausea, stomach pain, headaches, insomnia, loss of appetite, mood swings, increased anxiety. And this, I will tell you, the most common thing I hear from parents whose kids are on these medications. My kid is not themselves. It changed their personality. You love your kids. You love their individual personality. Nobody wants to see their kid lose their individual personality. So again, chiropractic care is not a cure, but it puts the spine back into alignment, allowing the nervous system to function the way it was supposed to, allowing it to function at 100%. This gives your child's brain the chance to get back on track and send out the right signals to the body. So this may see the symptoms of ADHD go away. It may lead to your kid having a better athletic performance. So it'll lead to that goal in overtime, or, you know, they can focus better in school. So getting that A+ on a test. There's no limit to the benefits when your child's body is working the way that it was supposed to. Reason number 5 why your kids should be under chiropractic care. It means more family time. Who doesn't want more and better quality time with their family? For parents of children that suffer from behavioral disorders or mood swings, each day can feel very stressful. Imagine if those stressful days, every day that's just a battle with your kids and is just so full of arguments and tension and stress. What if those days turned into good days? How would that change your life? Mood swings or behavioral disorders are traditionally caused by chemical imbalances within the body. So again, chiropractic care, when we provide an adjustment that allows a child's body to heal, the body can rebalance, and those chemical imbalances can become normal. Mood swings and behavioral disorders can lead to your children struggling to keep up with schoolwork or get good grades in school. It can lead to children who have trouble making friends or having good relationships within the classroom. Children who have trouble sleeping become even more irritable, which leads to even more of these chemical imbalances, more stress in the family. It can be this very, very vicious cycle. And then this just leads to less family fun and activities where, you know, the family makes memories and cultivates strong bonds. So again, if we can give that chiropractic adjustment to your child, and the brain can talk to their body the way it's supposed to, and their body can heal themselves, a lot of those things can rebalance, and your child can heal and be that pleasant little person with a wonderful personality that you love. Reason number 6, infants can benefit immensely. We get this question all the time. How old do my kids have to be adjusted? Can a day-old infant receive an adjustment? Yes. Should they receive an adjustment? If they need it, yes. Always have your kids checked by a chiropractor. If they don't need an adjustment, awesome, perfect. But if they do, then they should receive that adjustment so that their bodies can heal and function the way they're supposed to. Your baby's spine lengthens by 50% within the first year of life. 50% within the first year, that's huge. Growth is happening so fast. Many of you may have heard the saying, as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. If a bone in your child's spine is out of alignment, not only, again, is that going to affect the function of the nervous system, but it can literally affect structurally how they develop. It can affect postures. It can cause scoliosis. We don't want that. You don't want that for your kids. The nervous system, which controls the growth of all the musculoskeletal stuff, the bones and the muscles, but also controls the growth of their little organs, this needs to be functioning optimally for proper development. So is an adjustment safe for a baby? You just heard me tell you the story about Samuel. Yes, it's safe for your baby. In our office, when we're adjusting your children, you will be with them the entire time. Frequently, we adjust babies while they are either lying on their parents or sitting on their lap. We only use the gentlest amount of pressure to accommodate their small little bones. It's very gentle. Oftentimes, you're not even aware, the child's not even aware that the adjustment occurred, because oftentimes we can just hold them and cuddle them, and we can make that adjustment happen. And you might ask, why might an infant need to be adjusted? Moms who've gone through the birth process, I think you're aware that it can be traumatic, right? What causes traumas in birth? Very short labors that are kind of scary fast. Those can cause trauma. There's a lot of forces being applied very quickly, or very long labors, very strenuous. Again, a lot of pressure is being applied over long periods of time. That can cause trauma to your little baby's spine. A baby that's born with a cord wrapped around their neck, almost certainly that's a traumatic experience for them, just stress-wise, but also that very well can affect can affect the actual vertebra. It's very traumatic. Pulling or twisting on the baby's head during labor, particularly if forceps or vacuum extraction is used. We really encourage people to try and avoid that, but that applies immense pressure to your child's spine, and almost certainly there ends up being a trauma there. And then if the cervix fails to fully dilate, that can be very traumatic as well. Chiropractic adjustments restore the health to the nervous system. Again, it's very gentle, it's very easy on your child. It removes the interference in your child's nervous system, and they're allowed to then heal and get back to health, which is, again, what we all want for the kids. And lastly, reason number 7. Most of you listening here are patients in our office. You're under care. So what about your kids? Think about your life before you joined our clinic at Fostering Wellness or Randolph Chiropractic. Were you living optimally? Were you expressing the best version of yourself before you started care? How has your life improved since you've been under regular chiropractic care? Can you imagine what your life would have been like, what it would have looked like if you were under care since you were a child? This is why your children need to experience the chiropractic lifestyle from as early on as possible. It's so much easier if we start them young, and rather than trying to regain health, we're just trying to keep it. It's so much easier. We're not fighting years and years of backwards momentum. It's so much simpler with children, and don't you want, of course, everyone wants what's best for their children. It's their turn to transform, just like you. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone who has joined us. If you have any questions, I invite you to either ask them on our Facebook page, and we will certainly respond to that. One of us doctors will respond. The other way you can reach us is always by calling our office. You can reach us in Brandon, Rutland, or Randolph, and those numbers are on our Facebook page as well. It's just Fostering Wellness on Facebook. Also, you can send questions directly to my email. That is drtaryn.fosteringwellness@gmail.com. That is the abbreviated doctor. That's DRTARYN.fosteringwellness@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. Let me see if I can see your faces here. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you all being here today. This is recorded, so you can send it to your friends. We can access this later. Again, send us any questions that you have. We want you to be the healthiest version of yourself, and certainly we want the same for your children. So again, thank you for being here, and as always, make it a great day. All right, guys, take care.